on my website or on my social media. You can go check them out. And if you're in the area, come check it out. It's going to be a good time. You can investigate. There'll be Q&A, meet and greet, all that stuff.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Daryl, for coming on. Very informative and very intriguing. And thank you so much for coming on. And again, check out season 2 when it comes out next year sometime. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Anytime, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
One thing that comes through, we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Maelstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Maelstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea. From Maelstrom to Manhattan, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray. But what we have seen might not be what it seems when the government's shadows dance in the sea.
There are competing agendas to determine mankind's fate. Their influence here for millions of years.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio after dark. And now, here's Gary.
And I'm here. Well, we're trying to get Lyle on.
When you have finished recording.
And so far, I'm not getting a hold of him here. You know that, James?
I hear that. I don't know what the heck could be happening there. Let me see if I can. Find him too. Help you out
Okay,
there.
I'm going to try again here, and let's try to get him back on. Well, we'll give that a try. Maybe he forgot. You know, that happens occasionally.
Yeah, I'm going to send him a message.
Oh, I think we got him right now. Hey, Lyle?
Oh,
This is Lyle.
Hey, Gary from Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. I thought maybe you forgot there for a minute.
for a second. Time got away, and then I was like, "Oh no, it's time."
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. But I'll start doing something, and then I realize I got a show. It starts at 6:00, and I got to hook up to the server. I got to hook up on two different softwares. One goes to the internet, one goes to radio stations. And I'll tell you what, for about 10 minutes before airtime, I'm freaking out. So people can forget. Well, why don't you tell the listeners, Lyle, who you are, what you do?
I am a author and cryptid researcher. I've written several books that deal with unexplained creatures such as Bigfoot, things like that. I've been a part of a film company called Small Town Monsters, in which I've participated in several documentaries we've made. I narrate those, or I'm in them, or do research. And I've appeared on various shows, Finding Bigfoot, Monsters and Mysteries in America, Strange Evidence, and things like that. So basically, I do a lot of research on unexplained things.
It sounds like it. It is. I bet it keeps you really busy, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of, just one of those things that as you branch out, it just never ends. There's just so many leads you can follow and look into just all sorts of strange anomalies. So, yeah, I mean, and that's one reason I lost track of time. I was working on a book, and I can sit there and just almost literally go down the proverbial rabbit hole, and then 2 hours later I realize, oh, wait, I should get up or something. So it's a fascinating subject.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, Lyle, what got you into writing about cryptids?
Well, it's kind of something that just appealed to me when I was very young. I always liked spooky things and horror movies and monsters and things. And when I became aware of reports of Bigfoot and Yeti and Loch Ness Monster, things like that really appealed to me, because I thought, wow, these things could be really out there, living in the forests or the lakes. And, it's just something that I kind of had a fascination for. And I read books and watched, the same kind of documentaries and TV shows as a lot of people who are interested in this did. And over time, I became a musician, and I was a writer and wrote for several magazines, and I ended up, with the desire to write a book. And I just thought, what is my favorite subjects or passions? And that was this type of material. And I had seen a movie called The Legend of Boggy Creek when I was young, which dramatized sightings of a Sasquatch-like creature in southern Arkansas, not far from where I live in Texas. And so it was just something that was a big phenomenon in the 70s with this movie and these reported sightings of the creature. So my first book was The Beast of Boggy Creek, which was the sort of the story behind, those sightings, the history of that, and the making of that movie in the 70s. So that just sort of launched me into this more of a full-time, writer's gig with these type of things.
Oh, wow. Now, what part of Texas do you live in?
I live between Dallas and Fort Worth. I was born in Fort Worth, and I've always lived in either Fort Worth or Dallas, or in between my entire life. Yeah,
we have a regular guest that comes on once a month, Joe Taylor. He has a fossil museum in Blanco, Texas, or something like that. James, you remember what it's?
I believe it is Blanco, Texas, actually, yeah.
Yeah, and he said they've been having sightings of Mothman lately in that area. Have you heard anything like that in Texas going on?
Yeah, in fact, he contacted me asking me something about Mothman, and I haven't really looked into those reports in detail. But yeah, there's been some strange kind of flying humanoid type sightings, which are just different than, say, what we have a lot of sightings down here in Oklahoma and southern Texas of what we refer to as thunderbirds, or these large birds. But in the case of what he's looking into, it's literally kind of these humanoid winged creatures. So that's it's quite intriguing.
Did he tell you the story about one of his friend was driving late at night and hit one with her car, and I guess it put a dent in the fender or bumper or something, and she stopped thinking it was a human, and then that's when she realized it wasn't.
Yeah, I heard about that story, and it's, I think one of those rare occasions when somebody actually, strikes someone with a car or something that's fairly rare and probably quite unnerving, I would imagine, for that lady.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny, too. A couple of months ago, I had a trucker, email me, and I actually physically talked to him on the phone. He goes from, covers all of Texas in that area doing, at night, making long hauls. And he swore up and down that he was making a long haul. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He looks out of his driver cab window, and he sees something that looks... You remember that movie Jeepers Creepers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said he saw something that resembled that, looking, as he's doing 60 miles an hour, looking at him. And then it just took off. And he said that he claims after that he would not do any late, runs anymore. Doing it upnerved him so much.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and there's several of the original Mothman sightings from 1966 in which people, said that they were driving at high speeds and this thing was swooping down and keeping up with the car, same kind of a thing.
Yeah, and it seems a lot of the reports, I know Chicago gets a lot of them, but lately it's been like in Texas, we've been getting a lot of, reports of like Mothman type of creatures, so I don't know. And Thunderbird, I don't know about that. I posted a picture up on our website about a month ago of one that was captured and it hit the news. I don't know if it was manipulated. I didn't bother to check that closely on it, but that was near you guys too. Remember what state that? Oh, was that Pennsylvania, James, or where was it?
Yeah, it was. It was near the Pennsylvania-Jersey border. But that creature, not that certain one, but similar to that, has been sighted all over from Illinois to Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Texas too a few times, and pterodactyl sightings along with those.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, I've looked into a lot of that stuff, and we did a documentary called Terror in the Skies, which focused on the phenomenon mostly in Illinois, and around there. But I've about a year ago, we interviewed 2 different sets of witnesses who saw what they described as a leathery-skinned pterodactyl-type creature in Oklahoma.
Interesting.
And then there's a long down where you get into South Texas, kind of in the Rio Grande area, and then on over to San Antonio and Houston, which are all way down in South Texas. There's a long history of sightings of various, huge, impossibly huge birds, and in some cases these things swoop down and try to pick people up, and it's just there's a lot to that phenomenon, and like you say, with the Mothman, there was a lot of sightings in the last few years in Chicago, and then suddenly there's some in Texas. It always seems like there's a flap, as we call it, of these witness reports, which could support the fact that people are seeing something, because it's not just one person saying it; it's multiple people in one area. Sometimes people that don't know each other or have even heard the other person's story are then reporting the same kind of thing. So that's credibility to the case.
Yeah, I only saw one cryptic, and that was back in the early 2000s. And I'll just sum it up real fast. Me and my friend, who was a medical doctor, he just got done doing his internship. James, you know my story. Yeah, we decided to go out and take ghost pictures, ghost town pictures, up in the Canadian Rockies, up from the Seattle-Tacoma area. That's where we're at. And we made the cruise up to Canada, and then, we went up to the Rockies, and we were having a lot of fun, getting a lot of good pictures. We decided we were going to go to this Japanese internment camp, well, what was left of it from World War II. It was a middle of nowhere up in the Canadian Rockies, a middle of nowhere. And we hiked into it. We were going to take some pictures. And my friend says, hey, look at that giant bear across the creek. And on the other side of the creek, there was the old mine shaft that I guess the prisoners worked.